Déjà Brew Again, back with another beer review. This time we have Freshwater Brewing Company with a crisp lager. It mentions the froth. It's a frothy boy, so I'm expecting a good amount of head from this bad boy. It also said it was a low-carb lager. So I figured now's a good time for a little PSA that low-carb lager is kind of a lie. Yes, it is lower in calories, but usually it's like by 20, which is the equivalent of like 2 water crackers. So you're not really helping yourself, I don't think, too much. I guess if you drank a whole 6-pack in a night, it's kind of like maybe like it would start to have a bit of an effect. But yeah, for those of you looking at the waistline, maybe just work out a little bit more or something to justify the beer instead of going, oh, I will take 20 calories off that. But anyway, they don't put it at the front of the glass. I'm more talking to the pure blondes and everything. So these guys have, it is a bit lower, but it's not like, hey, it's going to be a solve-all for everything. So I'm excited for this. We haven't had a lager yet. Also low in gluten, so a bit excited. Lagers are interesting because you can get hops through it. You can hop flavoring. You can get a lovely malty lager. You can get a lovely, that starts to go, plays a little bit more with the wheat or the barley that's in there. Sometimes you get even like a bit of a sour finish to it that isn't a sour, but it's just something delightful. So let's just go. The can rip, it was okay. It was okay for a can rip. Let's go. Let's go here. So these guys are from Brookvale, New South Wales. Haven't been there. Will one time. For the word froth, that is just disgraceful. That looks like apple juice. Yeah, it smells like a pure blonde. We're definitely like in date, right? Oh yeah, well and truly in date. I'm just a bit worried there. That has come out like a pure blonde does. It smells like a pure blonde. I think I might be drinking a pure blonde. It's 1.2 standard drinks, so drinkability is there. You can definitely have a few of these. So let's see how this goes. I'm very disappointed in the head. I was hoping that would really go. Big bubbles, which tells me it's a bit of a cheaper process to put it into the kegs. And some of the ingredients are probably on the lower end. I could be wrong on that. Sometimes it's not like expensive champagne where you're looking at the bubbles. Sometimes they can mix and differ. Bit of a cloudier finish, which tells me that I might get a little bit of hop flavoring. The fermentation is a lot slower in a lager than other beers, so that's why you sometimes just don't get. Oh, it's a bit slower, sorry. So sometimes you don't get all the flavors. Everything doesn't leach out. But let's just dig in here. Let's have a. Yeah, it kind of just smells like malt. Like it's just a real like malt caramel kind of flavor. So let's just dig straight in. There's not really too much to assess from the smell. It's just a bit of a caramel, a little bit of sweetness coming through, a little bit of barley or grain in the smell. I'm not expecting too much fruit notes just from the smell, but let's dig in. There's only one way to find out, right? This is for science. So cheers. Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. That has the consistency, like the fizzy consistency of a cider, which is very different to beer. It really has a fizzy sort of hit onto my tongue. So texture-wise, I really need to put that forward, that it is starting to get... there's a difference between carbonation in a soft drink and in a beer. And this is definitely starting to borderline the carbonation that you get in a soft drink. So we're going to get that out there immediately. I do get a fruit. It is apples. I'm not sure if that's because my brain is getting tricked by the texture, so I'm going to go back in for a second, because I think my brain's going, oh, this is a strongbow. I know what this is. And then, not really getting much of the malty finish that I was kind of expecting in the taste at all. It's definitely better than like your low carb beers that you can just get over the counter, from the mass produced ones. It's definitely better than that. But how much? That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely apples. Yeah. Apples and then like a real kind of bitterness finish that you get from the brewing process. Like that, a bit of grain, and then the bitterness. Nothing really with the malt, unless the malt's coming through as apples for some reason and my brain just can't get over it. So, very interesting beer. Aftertaste isn't super pleasant, I must admit. Like, it doesn't elevate it. It does kind of linger a little bit longer, the bitterness. I might be a bit more sensitive to the bitterness and flavors than other people. That's what I'm starting to sort of read into. Not by a huge amount, but I think I am definitely noted for that. Just sort of the beers that I used to go with the hazies. So I don't want to knock this or let my preconceived notion sort of skew you away from buying this. However, this is my own review channel, and I get to do what I want. I get to do what I want. Because I have no one to answer to. Barely anyone watches this. Actually, a few people have kind of watched the last few, so that's been pretty good. I've been excited about that. All right, let's go again. We need a third one because this is a bit interesting. All right, bigger sip and then a little. Yeah. Okay. There is a bit of malt. Apple, malt, grain, bitterness. And you know what? Now that I'm a few sips in, that bitterness has gone away. Like, I think my mouth has definitely adjusted to it. The carbonation is odd. You kind of got to taste it to describe it, that it does kind of have a bit more of that cider finish in the carbonation than a usual beer does. Other than that, there's not too much I can knock on this. I think if you're looking just for the low carb, low gluten lager that are out there, I just want something crisp. I just want a crisp lager, really. This is kind of hitting all those boxes. If you don't like things on the fruitier side, you want none of that, and you really want that, just start to get in the bitters realm of a lager, like the Hellas's kind of start to push it. You probably won't love this beer, just because that carbonation, you'll first off think that's really odd. It's real Abe Simpson, the bubbles hurt my tongue, is the way that I'm going.
Oh, the bubbles are burning my tongue. Oh, water.
Went across. But if you can deal with that and a little bit of that, like, caramel molasses, I would say more molasses than caramel is coming through on the malt, then it's a pretty enjoyable beer. It's a pretty enjoyable beer. If you like it's a bit of a roller coaster. I wouldn't say it's complex. It's simple in the way that it delivers that roller coaster. Your brain very quickly knows what's happening and it can unpack it. But it's a good beer. So what am I rating it out of 100? Gonna give it like a smack bang like B. I think this is a 64. 64, 65. I wanted to say 65 and now I've gone with 64. No, I'm gonna go with man stick 65. 65. Like a B minus, I think that is. That's pretty good for this. I'm happy with it. I think, again, if you're rating... Again, I rate against all beers, so I just have this one category just to make life simpler. If you just wanted to rake in this, like, low calorie, which we already debunked, super crisp lagers, this would probably be sitting in the 70s, somewhere in there. I think there's ones that do this better, but this is quite good. Just that carbonation is weird, and my brain can't get over it. But that is the whole video. Thank you so much for watching. I have subscribers now, so maybe go be one of them as well. If you got any recommendations for beers, because I random everything that I do reviews on, but if you do have a recommendation, pop it in the comments down below, and maybe, once a week or once a fortnight, when I start to get a throw, I'll just like random which one I sort of pick from. Just because I want to start trying beers from a bit of everywhere. I do have a good bottle shop that sells over 1,000 beers, and I do travel a fair bit, so... 1,000 different types of beers, and I do travel a fair bit, so that will keep the variety coming. We still don't have a similar style that's come through in the 5 videos that have now been posted, so that is exciting. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and cheers! Oh, I didn't mention, this with fish and chips will be unbelievable. Unbelievable with fish and chips. Fish and chips. Not schnitzels. No. Fish and chips. Fish and chips. Fish and chips. It's like... Again, it's not citrus, it's apple. But fish and chips. Just Okay.